Hello.
Hello, good day, everyone. I'll give folks a moment or two to get joined in. I'm thinking we'll have a relatively quick meeting today, but let's see if I get proved wrong. I'm hopeful this morning. I'm ready to say we're shipping it.
Ship it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started because I think I have everybody that I really need to talk to today on the line. So today is Wednesday, September 26th. This is the next to the last, I would dare to say at this point, release team meeting for 112. I'm Tim Pepper, your release lead. This meeting is being recorded and will go onto YouTube shortly after the meeting, so please behave in accordance with our code of conduct. Let me just post the agenda link just in case anybody didn't have it there in the Zoom open. And thank you, folks who've already started putting your names in there. I'll put mine also. Please do so just so we keep track of who was here. All right, so where are we? I made the status all green today. Our final soaking in CI is looking good. The one thing that we got pushed in yesterday caused the expected test to go green. We have a green run, so the one remaining fix we had looking good. So upcoming actions around release notes and docs and actually cutting and publishing the release is basically where we are today, tomorrow. And then next week we'll have a retrospective, so links there in the agenda. If you have any thoughts or recollections from the release, things that you think we did good, things we could do better, please drop a reminder in there and we'll be discussing those next week. So in terms of a few specifics then, test infrastructure, and this isn't test infrastructure, and I just realized today we actually have instead of SIG test infrastructure, there is an area release infra, and it more falls in this area, but our publishing bot is having some trouble. Nikita has been looking at it, but to my knowledge, she's in India time zone, and I'm wondering if we can get some additional hands on that in North America to hopefully get that all sorted out and resolved today. So there's an issue link there. If anybody on the call could glance at that, and if they feel that there's somebody they know of who could help, maybe drop a message there in that issue. Otherwise, I'll be pushing and following up on that today. And then, excuse me, so as alluded to earlier, we had some upgrade downgrade issues around the daemon sets, and I guess I did something slightly unconventional yesterday, but I felt like I needed to. So normally anything that comes into the release branch after thaw is a cherry pick from master. And because Tide has a backlog right now, and it's looking like we're on a trajectory kind of late tonight, early tomorrow, maybe to have that backlog all resolved. If we need something in the release branch, we're just stuck waiting. So since that really is just a normal get cherry pick, and the desired patch is merging to master, it's in the queue, even though we don't have a queue, I guess right now, there's effectively a series of patches waiting to merge. I went ahead and issued a manual cherry pick of that patch. It's exactly identical to what's going into master, just so we could get it into the release, and we saw the test go green after that. So we achieved what we wanted, maybe slightly unorthodox in terms of the actual process, but I think that that's a reasonable thing to do. So test went green, yes. The one thing we were expecting to get green still is done and good. Yesterday morning, an issue came up around, and it's not actually an issue, but there's a PR around the version of cry cuddle or cry control. So this would have missed 112 on the original schedule, and it's looking like it's missing 112 on the current schedule. It's still not approved. So unless anything changes there, I've put a pretty clear suggestion and plan and clarification of intent in the PR there, asking for the associated stakeholders to let me know if there's anything else. But at this point, I don't see that as anything other than a known issue in the release notes. Unfortunately, it's a miss. It's not the end of the world. I mean, the only thing that FiSecure could call out that would be an implication is that one of our alpha features in 112 wouldn't be usable with the current command line, and that is what it is, and it'll be fixed in 112.1, so I'm not super worried about that. So any questions or comments there? That's basically where we are in terms of release content technically.
So Tim, I see that couple of daemon sets, the same test is fading across the upgrades. Is there a pending PR that needs to be cherry picked for that, or?
So tell me which board you're looking at.
I'm looking at upgrades in release blocking, the SIG release master upgrade.
In master upgrade.
Yes.
That I don't know. So there's in master, we don't yet have the patch that's in release 112 that we believe fixes this. Okay. But I would expect that those go green since they did in 112. But I mean, I can't say for sure. And then also, since so much else is going on in master, I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go green, but for other reasons.
So the same tests are there somewhere in 112 blocking as well?
Yeah, yep, and they had been having the same failure. If you look in, oh yeah, actually in the agenda, so the one that I was looking at, where am I? Master 112, master release 112. Where are the upgrade ones that I had been looking at?
You looking for the test grid dashboard, or?
Yeah, I have way too many windows open.
Release 112 all has a couple upgrade jobs for 112, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, so the daemon set failures in the release master upgrade, the daemon set failures there are on downgrade. And that is the specific instance that we fixed. And then the downgrade test, if you look in the agenda, there's a hunk of green text kind of in the middle, expected and got a green run at, and a link there. The equivalent test there went green overnight as the patch had merged.
Oh, okay, that one.
And so that's the downgrade portion.
Oh, it's in the 112 all. Okay, okay.
Yes, in 112 all instead of blocking, yep.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I added a line in the retrospect about like, what do we do when we have to do manual cherry picks? So it's good to know what you did here, so. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm looking at the right spot now.
And then I believe of the things that we're not passing in upgrade, we had passes, we had flakes, we had known expected failures once cluster lifecycle had switched their string over waiting for the final release. So as I've triaged everything there, it all was looking good, and cluster lifecycle was giving the thumbs up Friday and Monday as well. So I believe we're all good there. I saw a questioning face from Aaron of Sigbeard, possibly.
No, I mean,
okay.
I haven't been sitting here watching the boards as closely as y'all have, so I don't know that I have anything constructive to say. It's, you know, the release 112 blocking dashboard is red, and the release 1-12 all dashboard is red, but I'm presuming this is because the jobs that are red there are jobs that you know are red, and you have reasons for why they are red. you probably don't have these reasons written down in a central document that I, as a downstream consumer, could read to share that level of confidence with me. And this is typically where we are at this point in the release, which
Yeah.
just kind of makes me cringe more than anything.
Me too. I've tried.
If you, again, I'm going off of feelings because we're all humans here. If you feel confident, then that's the signal I am using.
Yep, I've tried to track day to day which ones we were looking at, what changes we were expecting, what we were accepting, but we don't have like a. And this is actually maybe something to bring up here in this agenda. Similar dashboard that I've had on past projects. We had a UI element where we could sort of click and mark as triage, marked as ignored, or refer off to some issue that was going to fix it, a PR that was going to fix it, a way of sort of giving a linkage in a little more durable way. Because otherwise, I either end up with our agenda for these meetings being sort of a daily journal of what we were looking at and understand why we are accepting of one, we have to go back and find the discussion of it, or I end up replicating test grid visually and marking off, yes, this one, and it just, documentation wise, I'm not sure how to accomplish that well, but maybe that's something to note in the retrospective is a.
Yes, it's worthwhile. There is a feature of test grid, I believe, that may not be available in open source or may not work super well in the open source version, where you can tag test failures as known things and have that linked to an issue. That's something we could automate in open source today if like the test failure name showed up in the issues that were created or something. We could link to the most recent GitHub issue that had that test failure in it, et cetera, et cetera. These are the sorts of things I feel like should be automated away and reduce the toil on the CI signal role. So I agree, this is a great retrospective item.
I'm just jotting that down. Yeah,
Let me know if you already have this tracked in the 112 blocking. The scalability job, the scalability 112 seems to be keeping some, it looks, for whatever it's worth, it looks like an infra issue.
Yeah, the SIG scalability chimed in yesterday overnight, Monday to Tuesday, I think, saying that it looks like the expected flake wobble there, and that they also gave their green on a go for release.
Okay. But they're tracking this in some issue?
I haven't seen an issue that really describes the failure there to my liking, but there has been an issue around a flake that they had opened. I'd have to go and look at the specific SIG scalability issues right now.
Okay. If you find it, just if you could ping it or add it to the agenda, I'll follow up on that, just to see what's. Yeah, mainly for if they have anything that they're working towards 113.
Yeah, exactly. They're yeah. So I think I'll drop this in the Zoom and then also put it in the I can note it in the agenda. So I think issue 68735 was where they had started tracking the flakes that had ended up being highlighted a week and a half ago. And I haven't looked at the details because I've been looking at so many other details, but yesterday they'd said like the failure was their known flake. And I'm presuming it's this one, but I don't know for sure.
The error seems to point to what I see in the logs.
Okay. So then hopefully 68735 then is tracking that. And then I don't know if you want to drop a 113 label on that just so it's on your visibility as you come in, because this is one of the other things that we struggle with right now. We have these known issues, but they're not on our radar for a bit as the release starts, and we just sort of are accepting of things getting a little wobbly on master. So yeah, it might be good to keep an eye on that and make sure it's sorted out sooner than later, and we keep getting tests more green than flaky.
Yep.
Well, I guess I will move on to the other couple things in the agenda then. Docs, I will ping Jen Rondeau about the status of things merging and going live there. Not too much in the way of concerns or worries there. I feel like Docs is really on top of this turn of the crank at this point. So we got the fingers from Zach. And then release notes, I would say kind of expected last minute sort of stuff. We're seeing a number of things come in now where people are realizing, okay, yeah, we should note this as a known issue. So there might be a few things coming in, but I'm expecting by today that we kind of call that, get it merged and ready to go. And then associated with that are 112 labeled issues and PRs are starting to go back up again. But this is also normal for this point in the cycle where people realize things have definitely missed and they're starting to tag them for 112 to mark the intent of a backport. Like they know that they're figuring the thing out, they're seeing it go into master and like, hey, we ought to backport this. So we'll see a little bit of stuff come back up there, and those are things, having triaged through them, they're either minor enough or on a trajectory to miss the release and be in the 0.1 fix patch release. So I think we're kind of on the normal trajectory there. And then comms, so I think we've done 4 or 5 interviews, Stephen and I. There's press folks interested in knowing what's in the release, how we're doing on things, and that's part of our jobs on the release team, is to kind of be a little bit of a face for that sort of stuff. So some of that's going on, and those are embargoed at the moment just because we haven't actually released. The press doesn't want to announce the release of 112 before it's actually released. So comms folks are managing that, and I guess that stuff will be going out tomorrow. Friday is the weekends, and they see that we have actually released. So I think we're on track there. Caitlin, anything you want to mention?
Nope, that covers it. Just curious if you have any idea for timing of when the actual release will go out tomorrow.
Well, good question. So Doug, do you have any thoughts or comments on your availability? But my thinking would be that traditionally we've kind of tried to get the thing mocked as a double check and built and staged ready to publish kind of like 4 or 5 p.m. in the day.
Yeah, I think somewhere we've said that it's going to be 5 p.m. I'm not sure where that is, but I think we've said that.
So we want to actually have it posted at 5 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you would be running this, closer to right after the community meeting or something?
Yeah, so I can do
a process that has historically taken a couple hours, and or there have been last minute snags along the way.
Yep. So I'd probably want to start a mock build like early afternoon, and then assuming that goes well.
You could even do it in the morning, I would say. And you could
staging.
probably, I don't think we're going to have anything else come in at this point, so I'm inclined to say you could run it today, and we could call it a release at this point and just have it ready to go.
Yeah, and it's staging the release takes the longest, and then actually doing the release is the part that pushes everything to GitHub and all that stuff. So I think getting it done by 5 should definitely not be a problem. Okay,
I'll touch base with you later today and in the morning, and we can track how that goes. But I guess to answer directly, Caitlin, we will be on track for 5.
Sounds good.
Cool.
So I think that is everything that was on the agenda today. I appreciate the discussion of things that look like retrospective topics, and would really encourage y'all to open up that document. And actually, I see an anonymous kangaroo typing right now, so please do that. It's really important for us to try to capture some of these things in the moment, and then circle back around and see what we can do about improving in each cycle. Anything else anyone has to discuss, or shall we call it a day? That's sounding like ship it. All right, we will go through the. Oh, Aish, you have a question?
Is there a release theme?
Yes, there is. We can talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, awesome.
Promote early, promote often, Tim. Come on, you gotta get it to stick in people's minds. People need repetition.
Do you? Well, we have time. Do you want so? Do you want to see my theme? It's not quite finalized. I got to make the PR, but
Okay. No.
I could.
Yeah. No rush.
You can reveal it tomorrow. I want to take up a little bit of the extra time. I posted it in the SIG release channel, but I remind folks that the triage dashboard is up and running again. This is usually something that's been super useful at this point in the release's lifecycle, and I apologize that it's not been available for so long. So what I've done is to try to improve how quickly it runs and make sure that it runs 3 times every hour now, instead of on an hourly basis. And I will see if I can look into expanding its horizon as a final thing, because it currently looks back at builds from the last week, and maybe it would be more useful if it showed like the last 2 or 3 weeks. But it's a fantastic tool to say, like, given this failure text, where else is this failure text happening on other jobs or other tests? Or given this test failure, what other jobs is it failing on? And so it can quickly answer like whether something has been fixed for a given set of jobs or a given branch or things like that.
Yeah, I was looking through it last night and kind of using it since it was back up to sort of reconfirm my sense of issues that we've been looking at over the last while, and I'd echo that it's a super useful tool.
Yep. Okay. I think I'm seeing the game of life.
Yeah, so life, yeah, that was sort of my theme for the release, the game of life, and that we have sort of these iterations, and it's also sort of a play on test grid for those of us who've been looking at the little reds and greens marching across test grid for a while. So yeah, game of life, this is life. We did it. Another iteration in a stable distributed system. And I think I ended up tweaking the image at the last minute, but I had run it and it evolved into a set of stable structures.
That is awesome. I definitely appreciate the gliders that are on there.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool. All right. I think that's all I have.
Cool. So t-shirts will be coming. I've got everybody's sizes and I've got to figure out how to get them to folks this fall between conferences and shipping and stuff. But yeah, you'll be getting a t-shirt soon. The most important part of the release, right? To have the t-shirt. All right, well, at that, I guess I will call it a meeting. Thank you all for attending, and we'll formally follow up on a few things tomorrow, get the release out the door, and yeah. Thank you all for all of your contributions over the last 3 months. Every time around, this is a slog, turning the crank, and it's awesome that so many people contribute to it. So thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Later.
Bye, everybody.